Whether you're trapped somewhere without a potato masher or you're simply nonplussed with a traditional potato masher and you'd like an alternative, I've got you covered. In this video, I'll go over 7 different tools that you can use instead of a potato masher, including a few that don't require any special equipment. First, I'll demonstrate how to use each one, then I'll go over the pros and cons so that you can make an informed choice about which one to use. Now, before we begin, let's discuss the 3 most common type of potatoes and how well they each work for making mashed potatoes. Russets are the most common type of potatoes that you'll see at the grocery store, and they're perfect for mashed potatoes. I used russets to test all of these mashing methods. Yukon Gold potatoes are also an excellent choice for mashed potatoes, and some people actually prefer them over russet potatoes. They're less common in grocery stores, but still pretty easy to find. If you're passionate about dialing in the texture and taste of your mashed potatoes, you could even try a mix of golds and russets to find that perfect balance for yourself. Red potatoes are another easy to find potato variety, but they aren't the best for mashed potatoes. While you totally can mash them, and some people might prefer their texture over russets or golds, it's important to realize that they have a more waxy texture. This can result in more lumpy or even gluey mashes. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get to the tests that I performed. Method number 1 was a wooden spoon. I boiled my potatoes, drained the water, and added butter and milk. Quick tip, you can reserve some of the salted water that you used for cooking and use that for part or even all of the mashing liquid. Just keep in mind that your mashed potatoes won't be as rich if you use water instead of milk or cream. Then I smashed the potatoes against the sides and bottom of the pot with the back of the spoon to mash them. While this isn't necessarily the most efficient way of mashing potatoes, it definitely worked. It wasn't really possible to get all of the lumps out of potatoes without standing there for all eternity, so the result was mashed potatoes with a good overall texture, but some lumps here and there. Now, I need to acknowledge my bias. I personally don't mind a few lumps in my mashed potatoes, so keep that in mind as I recommend each method. I would opt for this method in a pinch because the lumpiness doesn't bother me. The next tool that I tried out was a large fork. This is a serving fork, but I'm sure that a large dinner fork would work similarly. A small fork should technically work and might actually get your potatoes smoother, but the mashing process will probably be more tedious. As before, I boiled my potatoes, drained, and added butter and milk. Then I smooshed the potatoes against the sides and bottom of the pot. I think that this method works a little bit better than the spoon because the fork has an angle which makes mashing easier. Also, the tines allow you to more easily mash small pieces of potatoes and get rid of any lumps. This is definitely not a 100% lump-free method, but it gets the job done pretty well. It's a great option if you're passionate about not owning a single-use device. For the next method, I tried out using a sturdy whisk. I prepped the potatoes the same as the previous 2 methods. Then I simply smashed the whisk up and down to mash the potatoes. I was actually surprised by how well this method worked. There were some downsides. The potatoes tended to get stuck in the middle of the whisk, and I had to keep knocking them out in order to effectively mash all of the potatoes. And again, the potatoes were not completely lump-free. But again, I think that this is a feasible option in a pinch. Now, the first electric option that I want to mention is a hand mixer. I assembled the potatoes, butter, and milk as before, and simply beat the mixture with the electric mixer until smooth. This is a great option if you lack the hand and arm strength to mash potatoes by hand. And of course, it's easier to get smooth potatoes when you use a machine. But you do need to be careful to not overmix them or the potatoes might become gluey. I've also used a stand mixer in the past, which is pretty much the same idea, but I did leave them for too long and I turned the potatoes gluey. So go really slow and make sure to watch the potatoes carefully if you decide to go for that method. Another electric option that I tried was an immersion blender, also known as a hand blender or stick blender. It was really amazing to see how quickly the blender got the potatoes smooth. However, they were quickly on the verge of turning gluey. So if you use this method, just beware. For best results, go slow and really pay attention to the texture. You want smooth potatoes, but not baby food level of smooth. I mean, unless you really prefer that texture, then this method might be perfect for you. Now, the potato ricer is a legendary tool for making smooth, fluffy mashed potatoes, so of course I had to give it a try. I boiled the potatoes until tender, drained them and placed them into a large heat-safe bowl, and then ran them through the potato ricer on the smaller grater setting back into the still hot pot. Now, this took more strength to work the ricer than I had expected. If you also find it difficult to force the potatoes through the tiny holes, you could try switching to the larger grater size if your potato ricer comes with one. Now I made sure to heat my milk and butter over the stove so they wouldn't cool down the potatoes. Then I poured the hot milk and butter mixture over the rice potatoes and gently folded everything together with a spatula. The potatoes will have a loose, fluffy texture right after ricing, and then they'll come together and smooth out as you fold in the milk and butter. This method did result in some great creamy mashed potatoes. However, for me personally, they weren't so out of this world amazing that I would want to regularly go through the trouble of using the potato ricer. Also, you have significantly more dirty dishes with this method, and the ricer isn't super easy to clean. I would maybe pull it out if I was expected to bring the mashed potatoes to Thanksgiving dinner and wanted to impress everyone. Otherwise, for me personally, it's just not worth it. And the last method of mashing potatoes that I tried was using a stainless steel hand crank food mill. As with the potato ricer method, you boil the potatoes until tender. Then you want to transfer the potatoes to a heat-proof bowl and place the food mill over the empty pot. I used tongs to transfer the hot potatoes to the food mill to avoid burning my hands. Then I ran the potatoes through the mill. This also required more effort than I anticipated. I started with the smallest grater size, but I switched to the middle size after a while to hopefully make cranking it easier, but it didn't really help much. So this also would not be the best tool if you have arm or hand strength challenges. As with the potato ricer method, I added hot milk and butter to the rice potatoes and folded them in until everything was smooth and creamy. Again, this also made some fluffy mashed potatoes, but it also made a big mess. The food mill was even more difficult to clean than the potato ricer. So since it was kind of difficult to actually mill the potatoes and it made a rather large mess, I would not recommend this method. Okay, let's go over some final thoughts. In my opinion, the best substitutes for a potato masher that I tried are a large fork and a hand mixer. They're both easy to clean, less work than some of the other options, and fairly ubiquitous. I personally would not reach for the immersion blender, whisk, potato ricer, or food mill unless I didn't have any other tools available. That's not to say that they're bad tools for the job, just not the best or easiest ways to mash potatoes. Alright, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to check out this video next that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. I'll go over seven. Let's discuss but I'm sure that a large dinner fork allow you to more easily mash any small pieces potato. I assembled the You could switch to the larder, and it made a rather large